Hi, I'm Erik Linask here in the TMC newsroom. This week we're coming to you from San Jose, California, and I'm talking today with digitalPersona's Director of Product Marketing, Fabio Santini. Fabio, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
So let's start off. Tell me a little bit about who your company is, what you do for our audience.
Certainly. So DigitalPersona is a security company. We have two main lines of products. One is hardware and one is software. The hardware side of the business sells fingerprint sensors that companies or government agencies can use to add fingerprint authentication to existing applications or terminals. On the software side of the business, we sell a suite of security applications that include solutions like disk encryption, two-factor authentication, single sign-on, and more. Each of these solutions are requirements in many industries, such as healthcare, finance, and so on and so forth. And our key value proposition there is that we allow IT to centrally control all these solutions from a single management console, thus reducing their cost and IT burden.
So let's talk about the healthcare industry specifically. How big of a part of the business is that for you?
It's the single largest vertical for us. And the reason why that's the case is mostly that healthcare is a highly regulated industry. And in particular, regulations like HIPAA or high-tech have a lot of emphasis on the security and the technology that comes with it. If you look at HIPAA and high-tech, they require a variety of security solutions to be in place, from basic things like antivirus to more sophisticated things like data encryption and disk encryption in particular, or two-factor authentication. DigitalPersona, thanks to our approach of allowing management of multiple solutions from a single place, allows IT to more easily comply with regulations without spending a fortune or too much time managing individual point solutions that are only aimed at addressing specific problems.
So just like any other industry, healthcare has got small organizations and large ones. Mm-hmm. Which side of the spectrum, which ends of the spectrum do you address?
Well, we actually go across the board. We have two main versions of our products in the healthcare space. One was recently announced actually, and it's a cloud-based solution that makes security management really simple for organizations of any size, even very small ones. So even small practices with 10, 20, 30 doctors, all the way up to hundreds and hundreds of doctors can use this software as a service to centrally deploy and control security and comply with things like HIPAA and high-tech without worrying about server installation and server maintenance that are just an overkill for a small company. On the other side of the spectrum, we have an enterprise version that leverages the existing IT infrastructure and things like Active Directory in particular for organizations of any size. So our largest customers are in the healthcare space are actually groups of hospitals that include thousands and thousands of doctors and practitioners, nurses, and so on and so forth. So we really go across the board.
So for a technology company,
yeah.
How easy or difficult is it to penetrate the healthcare market?
It's a very interesting question. Healthcare can be tricky mostly because of the noise that is in the space. Healthcare is since it's a highly regulated industry, healthcare is a great market for security companies like ourselves. So everybody tries to get to step in. The way we solve the problem at DigitalPersona, besides the product innovation itself, is by partnering with large PC manufacturers in our go-to market so that customers in the healthcare space can more easily access our solutions when they buy, for example, computers from their preferred PC manufacturer. Our software is part of and is bundled with many computers, so when you buy it from the factory, it's already enabled for security with DigitalPersona. You literally just have to turn it on by choosing your preferred solution, either the cloud or the Active Directory version. So that ease of deployment and ease of adoption makes a big difference for us in our ability to attract the healthcare market.
So basically, you're leveraging the PC manufacturers' distribution channels to get into the system.
Correct, and it's a win-win for everybody because they are in need of differentiating among themselves and against competition. If you are HP, you have to compete against Dell. If you are a channel partner, you have to compete against your neighbor. And everybody is looking for high value added solutions and services they can provide to their customers. security is typically identified as a core solution in many cases and by many partners because of the high value that it brings to the customer, because of the complexity that typically involves, and therefore the value added that you are providing by making it simple for the customer. And finally, since it's often required by regulations, security has to be part of the conversations PC makers or their channel partners have with their customers.
In a lot of companies, people understand, the IT folks understand the need for security.
Yes.
They don't necessarily understand how to properly implement security.
Correct.
Is that the same situation in healthcare?
Well, in our experience, healthcare can be very sophisticated, but that only happens with very large customers. And the type of conversations we have with those customers are obviously very different from what you had with a 50-seat type of healthcare organization. So it's important for us, excuse me, for us it was important to differentiate the product line with a cloud-based solution versus an Active Directory version, because the cloud really makes it very easy and very simple to deploy security. No installation, nothing at all. You get a link, you go to the website, a portal, and you set the security policies from there. So by differentiating dramatically in terms of the product deployment options, we make it very easy for customers of any size to deploy security.
So is there any reason for a large healthcare organization not to deploy the cloud version?
It's actually completely up to them. Often very large organizations already have teams and infrastructures in place and simply like to leverage those. There is no intrinsic limitation in the capability of the cloud solution. It really boils down to their preferences, and often in our experience, when you get over several hundred seats or even thousands of seats, the customers just tend to gravitate toward infrastructure-based solutions like Active Directory and so on and so forth. But it's entirely up to them. Our goal was just to provide flexibility.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
We've been talking here in the TMC newsroom in San Jose, California with digitalPersona's Fabio Santini. Fabio, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me, Erik.